But around here...
Do you wanna ride with Sammy? What you want me to do? Come on and slide with Sammy. Sippin', I'm 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 sippin'.
This is Sippin' with Sammy. I am Mr. Fly Shit Only, the one and only Sippin' with Sammy. Sam Malone, Barstool Rug. If you ain't sippin' with Sammy, you ain't sippin' right. Please get your fucking life together.
Damn, Sammy, damn, Sammy, you done fucked up.
Yeah, boy.
Thanks, Sammy.
Yep. What's up with y'all, man? Happy Monday, happy hour, all that flyness. Hopefully everything is good with y'all. Everything except for my joints is great with me today. Other than me physically being a little sore from working out, I'm great. I'm good. It's another Monday. We got a lot of great topics for y'all. Please file in, chat with us. Let us get y'all feedback on these topics. We appreciate that. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel and maybe even get this video a like. I appreciate that. Also, I am in the building with Kay from Fine Productions. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I'm in here.
What's up with you?
You know, living the dream.
How you feeling?
Great.
Great?
Feeling great.
You got a blazer and stuff on. What you into, man?
Got a little sweater blazer.
Yeah?
I went to the office today.
That's how you felt?
Yeah, that's how I felt.
Oh, all right. They don't ever see you with no blazers or nothing. You trying to shock the audience. You said sweater blazer.
Yeah.
Okay. It looks nice.
Thank
nice.
you.
Thank
you.
Look
I'm
regal.
ready to talk about my leagues.
Oh, my goodness. So, weekend recap, no weekend recap. What we doing?
We could do a weekend recap.
All right. You want to start it?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Did I do anything this weekend?
That's why I asked, because I don't think I did shit.
I don't think I did either. Besides football, which we'll get to, obviously.
Yeah, I watched a lot of sport this weekend.
Watched a lot of sports.
Where did I go? I know I probably shot past moms or something. I ain't really do much. I did a lot of stretching this weekend. So shout out to the weekend. It's over.
Shout out to the weekend. It's over.
It's over. No, it was a good one though, because I definitely got to relax. I know that for a fact. But
you even went to bed early all weekend.
Yeah, because my body is on this new clock, and I also was sore every day.
Yeah.
And spending all day stretching, half the time when it gets to the end of the night, you like, I'd rather just stretch in bed, laying flat out, hit all my positions. And by the time you do that, you sleep. Like, what the hell happened? I was falling asleep on all my own YouTube. But it's cool. It's good. It's worth it. Signs of new things. That's all it is.
All right. Well, I guess we're done with the weekend.
Yeah, the weekend's over. It's over. Sayonara. See you next time.
Great.
Appreciate you, though.
Let's move on.
Yeah, let's do it. Where we going?
Let's start with football.
I think we killed that weekend update, though. That was crazy. Bodied that recap.
Bodied.
Bodied.
All right. So, the championship games, not the Super Bowl, but the championship games for the conferences were this weekend. And the Eagles first played the Commanders, and we whooped ass. Thank you.
I knew you was waiting on it.
I was making sure you were ready. We annihilated the Commanders. I think the final score was 55-24. Our offense was just moving on all cylinders. Like, first drive of the game for us, Saquon Barkley ran into the end zone.
Yeah, 70 yards.
Just like broke 4 tackles. No big deal. It's Saquon. And it was just up from there. Like, at first, the first half, by the time the end of the second quarter was coming, I thought to myself, like, oh, this could be a close game. But I wasn't too worried yet because we were playing well, right? But the score was close. Like, they kept coming back, and they kept scoring after we would score, or, you know, kicking field goals, and, like, the score was not far. And I'm like, but we're a second-half team. Just wait. And then what happened in the second half? Oh, it was brilliant. It was brilliant.
I love brilliant.
We threw the ball.
Yeah, y'all did that?
We threw the ball. Remember what I said last week when I was like, you know what would be great if we threw the ball? And we threw the ball. And our receivers caught the ball.
Funny how that works, huh?
Isn't it? When you have all-star receivers that they can actually catch.
Right.
And probably one of the most remarkable things of the game, for me, Jalen Hurts looked how Jalen Hurts is supposed to look during the playoffs. He did not look hobbled or scrambled or insufficient as we have seen in previous games. He looked how he was supposed to look. He was moving well. He could clearly still run the ball. He was still a threat on offense in multiple facets. He, you know, was hanging out in the pocket for a very long time, which is something that, you know, I think is good for him. But overall, I was very pleased with the Eagles' performance outside of Jake Elliott. But yeah, everybody else on the Eagles, I thought this was a great game. I thought that we did everything we needed to do. But what do you think about that game?
No, I think y'all played a great game. I think there was still some dumbass mistakes that's happened during the game, but it's all good. Yeah, I think y'all had positioning the whole time. Every time they turned the ball over, y'all scored.
Yep.
As far as the amount of time he spent in the pocket, I heard somebody, hate to say it, 2 battle rappers. It was Snake Eyes and Rosenberg. And Snake Eyes jumped in on the Eagles celebration and he had said, like, and why he back there so long? He be in the pocket too long. And it was like, well, you know, that's like a benefit of having the offensive line that he has time to be back there.
Right.
That's a thing. So the reason he's back there is because he can be.
Yes.
So that's always good to see, especially because we know there's been games this season where it ain't look like he was being protected as good as the O-line was.
Yeah. He's
getting touched too much. So I think it was a great game.
And I think that also shows that confidence hasn't changed either. Like you said, like he had been getting touched a couple of times. Mm-hmm. He's just coming off of a couple of pretty big injuries that we know of. And I think for him to still have that confidence, not only in his O-line, but himself and his ability to scramble, it shows that he might not be as injured as people think he might be.
And, you know, I'm still concerned about Saquon's hand because I don't think it's where it's supposed to be 100%. But I'm not really worried about it anymore because it seems to be insufficient. They must got the right tape. But, yeah, I mean, it's the end of the season. People are going to be hobbled. It's time to step up and play the game and trust your teammates.
Absolutely.
And that's what he did. That's what throwing the ball around the field does, too, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, just because we're Eagles fans, I do want to say, though, that
we are not. Go ahead.
Jaden Daniels had an amazing season. That rookie deserves to be recognized.
And I don't think that it felt like the moment was too big. It just felt like the Eagles were too dominant.
Yeah. I think the Eagles were just a better team.
Yeah. Yeah. I still like Younger, man. He had a great season. Man.
Absolutely.
Awesome season.
And I don't think that this loss takes away from his rookie season either.
No, it doesn't. Making it to the Super Bowl just puts him in a whole different conversation. But this loss doesn't. It's not a blemish on this season at all.
No.
And it's the Eagles, and if the Eagles go ahead and win it, then it's even less of a thing.
Yep.
Because you lost to the Super Bowl champions, and it just was what it was. They beat my homeboy and everybody. You know what I mean? Like that's what the story will be. So yeah.
Do you want to talk about the celebration here now, or do you want to talk about the other game first?
Let's talk about the celebration, man. Let's keep it in Philly. Fuck it.
All right.
After the game is the after party, and now there was a lot of you gonna introduce this one?
No, you can.
There was a lot of talk, social media wise, publicly, kind of like on the airwaves of people saying over and over again, "Meet me on Broad Street." Like that had become a theme before the game was over, like before the game started.
I got an email from the city, from the city office of emergency preparedness or emergency management. And this email was on either Thursday or Friday. And it was all about the streets that were going to be closed on Sunday in anticipation of celebrations, that they were going to have extra police stationed at Frankfurt and Cottman. Like, they listed the intersections where people congregate and also where they want the people to congregate. Because if they suggest these locations, they close these locations, it makes it a controlled environment, so they think.
Yeah, so, I mean, even down to Meek Mill saying, yo, everybody meet me at City Hall, somebody bring their DJ equipment, and I'm going to shoot, what's the name video again? Like, hold up, wait a minute. You was about to do that, though. And the DJs went down there. Shout out to, what was it, DJ Tragic that I follow, I think, went down there with his ones and twos. And he set up super fast. Him and his homies put that table together so fast in that crowd, yo. But shout out to the DJ. Shout out to everybody that partied safely last night, and responsibly and respectfully, because Philly is a motherfucker. But they flooded Broad Street. The Crisco once again was defeated.
Oh, always.
Philly is undefeated versus Crisco. The one young boy is standing on the sign and he's swinging the book around. Did you see that one? He climbed up there with the book.
You saw the bull that fell?
Yeah, you saw the one that did the backflip and landed back.
No.
Yeah, it's always one of them. He jumped off of like the back of something and flipped, and it didn't make the full. And anytime you don't make the full progression, you know where you land.
That's why you see my face.
I don't see your face, but alright. But a party was had. A party was had. Very little on the side of reports of things that happened. I heard in one section about 5 people got arrested. 3 people got hit by a lady in a car, and they're saying that wasn't intentional or terroristic, so that's important to know.
Yeah.
I saw a video of a chubby white guy letting a couple rounds off in a crowded Frankfurt area. I don't know if that was very smart, but they'll probably get him soon anyway because his whole face on there. But yeah, I think that this is why we enjoy when sports teams in Philly are doing well, because this city is sports. This city is hard work. This city is, I ain't paid for all these fucking hoodies and jerseys to never have it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, because I think it's different here. It's more than a fashion statement here. It's really a pride thing in a different kind of way that a lot of cities that have great teams, they don't even carry it like that. People don't get the Lakers games till damn near halftime. Like, it'd be crazy.
If you live in Philly and you went to work today, work was great. You know? Everybody was in a great mood.
Coworkers was awesome.
Everybody said go Birds. Like,
even the motherfuckers that was on Broad Street last night was perky. 6 o'clock this morning. They was up. They was ready for the shit.
They were ready.
And that's the good thing about having a 3 o'clock game too.
Yeah.
I think that played a good part into
keeping things calmer.
Yeah, because the later it gets, the more people have had to drink. The later the veering off and the cleaning up of the streets happens.
Because they were out there tailgating since like 4 a.m.
Yeah, as they should. I mean, and the thing is, like, I saw some Redskins fans get harassed, but it didn't look too bad.
I mean, some Redskins fans decorated the Rocky statue again, so they deserved it.
But history says that that's a bad omen.
I know.
Eagles usually win, or always win when that happens.
Yep.
So
whenever you deface Rocky, we win.
Keep decorating the ball. Fucking paint them next time. Get your ass in real trouble. But nah, I was just glad to see it. And like you said, walking into work and seeing the first few people I saw this morning, I mean, smiling faces and just waiting for somebody to bring up the game.
Right.
Or they right on it. How you doing today? Well, the Sixers 1-2, Eagles 1-1. I mean, it's a great week to me. I'm like, yo, I literally heard that first thing this morning. I was like, I knew it. I knew it was how it was going to be. So I love that for y'all, man.
Absolutely.
Love that for us. I love that for the city. Let's enjoy this. Like I said, responsibly and respectfully, so that everybody's able to get home safely.
That part.
That's all it's about. That's all it's about. We just want people to get back and be able to go to work the next day. That's all. That's all. 'Cause everybody in the city damn near got to work, and you know it. So let's get to it. But where we at next, man? We gonna go to Kansas City?
Yeah, let's talk about the Kansas City game.
Kansas City?
All right, so the second game of the night was the Buffalo Bills versus the Kansas City Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a very close game. So if you were watching live, the announcers actually, in the end of the fourth quarter, kept hinting that it was going to go to overtime. They thought this game was going to go to overtime. But then the Chiefs ended up scoring again to pull away and lead to a final score of 29-32, with that final field goal being the difference.
I keep hearing about a funny flag that disappeared. Did you see it? I think the Bills, from what I'm hearing, had the ball and they were trying to convert something, maybe to get a first down or whatever, and the flag was thrown, but they didn't convert it, so the flag disappeared. Like a preemptive flag, like just in case. I saw stories about that this morning.
I don't know about that specifically. I know that there was a throw that looked like it hit the ground that they gave to Kansas City as a reception, and it was reviewed. The Bills challenged the call, and it still ended up staying to be a reception, and that led to a touchdown.
And did it touch the ground?
Yeah, you could see on the replay that it touched the ground, but what they argued was that you couldn't tell if it was within the receiver's control before it touched the ground or not.
Never leave it in the ref's hands, man. Rule number one.
Exactly.
I don't
So,
care what sport you play.
and to be honest, this game wasn't like the last game where it was blatant, like protecting
Debauchery.
Mahomes and things like that. This game wasn't like that. Most of the calls, in my opinion, seemed fair on both sides. I don't think that the refs were the issue. I thought that overall, Buffalo had plenty of chances to change the momentum of the game. The Chiefs had a couple of fumbles that they ended up being able to recover, and the Bills could have gotten those. The Bills could have forced those turnovers. The Bills could have done more.
Mm-hmm.
And they just didn't. The Bills' offense also was not super impressive. Overall, the Bills have had like a spotty offense for the entirety of the season, where their running has been great, but their passing options have been kind of all over the place and a little streaky. And I think that this week, Kansas City focused on trying to limit their run power. And the receivers just didn't really show up. Like, it wasn't a big day for Shakir. It wasn't a big day for Coleman. It wasn't a big day for Cooper. So overall, I just think that the Chiefs ended up playing a better game. And
Can we play a game?
it was within Buffalo's ability to win this one, but they did not do enough. What's the game you want to play?
Which city took the loss better? AKA, which city you think took it the worst? DC or Buffalo? DC had a hell of a party this year. They didn't even expect it. They were doing bad for a long time. They're kind of used to it. Buffalo, used to getting far and not really coming home with nothing. Which team do you think took it the hardest?
Buffalo.
Buffalo?
Yes.
You think DC walked it out? It's just like,
Yeah,
oh,
I think DC was happy to be there. On some real shit. DC was happy to be in the conversation.
which is cool.
Based off of like the season before this one and a couple of years prior to that, like
Y'all moved a couple pieces and all of a sudden y'all had a successful season.
Right.
Yeah, man.
y'all, and this is your first year with a rookie quarterback, a new ownership, right?
So they boosted, as they would say. Right now they still
New
boosted.
coach, like, yeah, it's all new, baby.
Nah,
So
that
they-
makes sense.
They're definitely okay. They're happy with their season. They overachieved what anybody's expectations were. Buffalo, on the other hand,
They still talking about how y'all ain't changed the shit they told y'all to change from last year.
right.
I said this shit last time.
Right.
You know how the Eagles be at this point. It's the same shit from last year. Remember, we had the great games, then we started winning by the skin of our teeth, and then we just fell off. It's the same thing in Buffalo right now. You know how it is.
Yeah.
That's how it would have been here, but that's not what it is, so.
Say that. It's not what it is.
Not what it
so
is,
we
man.
will see the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Eagles versus the Chiefs. Rematch. Let's get to it.
You putting any bets in?
Uh,
On or offline? You ain't got no personal bets? Nobody has to wear a jersey to work or nothing? No crazy shit? Y'all don't do none of that?
no, I don't do none of that.
Nobody gets a bucket of Gatorade poured on them or anything?
No.
Nothing?
We all hope the Eagles win. That's it.
Oh, so all your friends are Eagles fans?
Yes.
Even on social media?
I don't have very many
Sounds a little
sports-oriented
biased.
people on social media, and those that I do, I don't engage with on social media, so it's fine.
That's crazy. I don't engage with it. It's phenomenal. Yeah, my social media runs crazy every Sunday. And I mean, like, Corey Williams just put out a full dissertation after the Eagles win yesterday, and it was just, I looked at it and I grazed through it, and I was just like, yo, your team didn't play and you wanted to type this much? Like, I'm not one of the ones that's like, your team ain't playing, shut up. But I ain't got that much to say. I'm trying to think of a cool one-liner. I ain't trying to break down your life. That was crazy.
Yeah, outside of, like, a couple of people
Shout out to
posting.
Corey. I love my brother, but, you know, he into that.
Yeah, outside of a couple of people posting during frustrating moments, a couple of people posting in the beginning of the game just to,
That's my favorite time to go on Facebook. When the Eagles is trying to figure it out or they struggling, that's when I look on my news feed because Eagles fans are hilarious. They go from high to low to digging the hole, and then they shoot right back up like a skyrocket. You like, what the hell just happened? You was on here ready to trade teams.
I think also because I'm not a game poster, like I never post about games. I never think to look at social media during games to be like, oh, I wonder what so-and-so posted.
My feed is so entertaining that when that shit happens and it's like nothing really going on in the game, they be like, I know such and such is mad. Let me see what he said. Like,
dang.
it really be funny because, and I don't know if it's a community thing, but a lot of people that don't be on Twitter still kind of use Facebook like Twitter when it's games on.
Okay.
When it's sporting events or like big events on.
Okay.
They'll give play-by-plays like tweets. And you could just watch the emotion. You could just see it because it's one-liners and shit. It's hilarious, yo. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's so fun to me. But I see the most interesting arguments. I be like, yo, y'all gotta stop having that argument, yo. Homie likes his team that he likes, yo. It's all right.
I honestly think if it wasn't for work and podcasting, I probably would have deleted Facebook a while ago.
Absolutely. Now, I got a question because it was said this morning that Cowboy fans are only annoying in Philadelphia. No, it wasn't Philadelphia. He said Cowboy fans that are not from Dallas are the only ones that are annoying. The Dallas ones are cool, mostly. Now, I propose a question behind that, right? Mm-hmm. Could it be because they have to fight for their fucking life every single day, no matter what city they in, arguing for their team? Because we do live in a city that treats every Cowboy game like the Super Bowl, right?
True.
And that's not even trying to be funny. It's like...
And we're not even the Cowboys' main rivals.
No, and that's what I'm saying. They don't look at it like that.
Yeah.
But if you live somewhere else that is Philly or Philly adjacent where they lost to the Cowboys and they feel some type of way about the Cowboys, then you got to fight every time you go to happy hour. You got to fight in church. You got to fight at Thanksgiving. Like, it doesn't stop. You have to defend your team at all costs, at all times. Right now, if you're a Kansas City fan, you got to do it.
Yeah.
And people actually like Mahomes, hate Kansas City. And now they hate him even more because it seemed like he's getting favored. But is it possible that the Dallas fans from Dallas are cooler because they don't have to fight every day about a team that they don't even care as much about? Is that possible?
I'm sure that's probable.
It's probable, right?
Yep.
I wanted to pose that, but I'm like, I don't want to start a whole little ruckus at work. But like when he said it, it was like, well, actually that makes sense if you look at it from the other way. You know, sometimes somebody explains something so well that it's like, yeah, but flip your hand around.
I think the problem is that there's so many Dallas fans outside of Dallas.
It was America's team for a long time. And it arguably still is. You see what I'm saying? And, I mean, a lot of that is Jerry built his own world. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
That's a real thing. Like, when the brand was larger than life, he made it bigger. He made it the Yankees.
So, Super Bowl predictions. Who you got?
I'm rocking with the Eagles. I ain't gonna hate on y'all. I'm rocking with the Eagles. I think that, and this is something I might not have said on here, but I know I said it to you personally, that I felt like this was the year for y'all to get it done. I said that early in the season.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, y'all look like a team that could, because I was comparing y'all to last team, last season. And I'm like, no, this look like it could be about something. And then eventually Detroit started scaring people. But I had been saying way before everybody started saying, oh my God, look at Detroit, that the Eagles look like something. So I think that it's highly doable. I think that all the predictions of how it's supposed to go, I don't think it's going to go like that.
What do you think it's going to go like?
They keep saying a low-scoring game or certain point ranges, 21 to 24, 21 to 27, shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it fuck around and becomes a shootout, even if the Eagles run the ball a lot. I think it turns into some form of a shootout. I think it gets out of control.
I think our defense is very excited to annihilate.
And let me say the other side of that. My bad, real quick before you get into it. If it's not that, then the turnovers are going to be exciting. You see what I'm saying? Like, I think both teams have so much going that it's like, this is just going to be stupid. It's going to be a fun game.
I agree with you there. I think it's going to be a fun game. I think the score, if I had to predict the score, I think the Eagles are going to win something like 34 to 17.
I like it.
I think that our defense is going to come out with the mentality of, like, Patrick Mahomes is not going to three-peat on us. And I think that our defense is very excited to shut him down. Mm-hmm. So I think for the first half, or at least the first quarter, Kansas City is going to have trouble. I think they're going to have trouble. I think we're going to score first. And then I think, after some field goals, when it comes down to it, we'll just have the stronger offense. And I think when our offense stands up against Kansas City's defense, at first it might be slow going, but in that second half, we'll run the crap out of that ball.
You brought up a point that made me think of something. And damn near every Super Bowl, especially in recent history, one team starts off a little all over the place and needs to settle in. Right? Mm-hmm. In this scenario, the Chiefs, you would feel like, would be the ones that'll be more comfortable from the snap.
Sure, this is their third time there in 3 years.
That's what I'm saying. So when you say you think that y'all score first and that y'all start off, being prepared and dominant, do you think the Eagles come out with no jitters? Because that's a thing in the Super Bowl every year.
I think...
Damn near. It's always one team that is like, yo, they got to calm down. They got to settle in.
I think the way that we played this last Sunday tells me that our offense is ready. Mm-hmm. So I don't necessarily think that our offense will have jitters, but that being said, historically, we don't score much in the first quarter.
At all.
So we are a slow starting team to begin with. So I'm not necessarily saying that we're going to bust out the gate like we did this Sunday. Yeah. But I think that overall our defense is going to come out with that energy of busting out the gate. Because
that was the other part of what I was thinking too. Is it's not like y'all ever start strong.
No, right? I think our defense is going to start extremely strong and be a force to be reckoned with. And I think that that's what's going to lead to us scoring first.
Special teams is going to have their hands full on both sides. I'm telling you. gonna be a game.
Yeah, that's what makes me nervous is when it comes down to if this becomes like a field goal match.
Because your man don't like to hit him lately.
Yeah, and Kansas City Chiefs have one of the best kickers in the league, so
Niggas gonna be taking 2-point conversions.
Yeah.
And trying to get in the end zone, and that's it. That's crazy, but no. Shout out to the Eagles. Shout out to Philly. Don't let nothing get you down this week. Like, we all go through stuff, but if it ain't that much, let it go, man. Let it go. It ain't that deep. It ain't that deep. I just told a friend of mine recently, man, don't go dark. It ain't that serious. Just relax. You're gonna be all right.
So before we move on from football, we got to talk about this. During the games this weekend, they teased a new trailer for the Kendrick Lamar halftime performance for the Super Bowl, in which he is talking on the phone on a football field, and whoever he's speaking to, he says something at the end like, "Yes, I was thinking about a guest performance," and then SZA walks up behind him and dumps Gatorade on him. So it makes it clear that SZA will be performing with Kendrick Lamar for the halftime show.
I think that, and shout out to that Six Major. I saw a lot of people dissecting, trying to find like content, like little clues and subliminals in this. I think the most obvious one that everybody missed was he really starts the conversation that you hear, the part of the conversation you hear. He's saying, "Oh no, yeah, I gotta keep up with the regiment. This is a big field. I'm on the field right now. It's a big field. I gotta get the regiment tight, right?" Mm-hmm. There was allusions as to who would be able to beat him up if they did this, that, and the third, and on some people's streams. If I get him, I'm gonna do this to him. Some certain artists said certain things, and it's like he slickly said, "I'm still keeping up with the regiment," because people don't even realize like Kendrick had all the TDE on a regiment. If you on tour, we all working out every day. One of his biggest interviews was on Noisy, and they was in the backyard in Compton getting it in. Getting it in like they was in LA Fitness or, in a real gym. They had everything back there. Niggas was out there working the whole time he was talking.
Right.
So it's like, I thought that was very interesting. I love the SZA announcement. I think that we kind of assumed that. I know me and you probably assumed that.
Yeah, we talked about that previously.
Yeah, I thought SZA was like a no-brainer. I think that the interesting question is whom else?
I think this is a smart announcement to make ahead of time, though, because this really draws in the female viewer in a way that maybe Kendrick didn't. Because, women usually watch the Super Bowl for the halftime performance and the commercials.
No, it needed to be announced ahead of time. You're right.
So I think they needed to know that the halftime performance would also excite them.
And I think a lot of women wouldn't have assumed, like we assumed, that she was going to be there.
Right, because because Kendrick doesn't necessarily feature on a lot of SZA songs, but SZA does feature on a few of his songs, and we know they're going on tour together.
And the people have been asking for a joint project from them both together recently. So I think everything's lining up perfectly. I think this also shows that even though he's independent now, he has his own situation, that him and TDE is still very super tight. Mm-hmm. And that whether it was necessary, I think it could be necessary for two reasons, right? The reason that you said, to draw the women in and to give a little more light to it, give more energy to it. Mm-hmm. But also, this puts SZA on a bigger platform than just that day. I need her name to be ringing up until that day. We need 3 weeks of y'all talking about SZA.
Well, speaking of, I was about to say she's been on a little bit of a run because she just dropped that she's in that comedy. The new comedy that just came out.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like one of the starring roles, and even Kiki...
Just one of them days.
Yeah, Kiki Palmer or somebody. Issa was saying... One of them was saying that she was phenomenal in it. No,
she's actually... See, but that's the thing. Like, even with her personality, whether it's high or low, she's a character. She's an energy. She's a personality. Similar to what I was saying about two of the women I'm training with today. It was like watching them try to figure out what we were trying to do is just pure comedy and it's natural. It's like they're not trying to be funny. And I think SZA knows how to do all the expressions that you want to see on somebody in the right moment. I think she doesn't know how to control that shit. I think if you could literally just let her freestyle, she's gonna make the same energy that you would have wanted from her if you tried to explain it to her.
Right.
You know? Like, it could be like, yo, blue Gatorade. You could be like, your mama, and she'll turn right into what? Like, what happened? Like, I think she'll go right there. So I love her, especially because she's dropping a lot of hints about wanting to drop a kid's album or two and duck out. Well, work out in those other spaces, and maybe you'll find a reason, excuse, or a way to balance out your creativity with your prior profession, so that you can end all things amicably and make all of the money while utilizing all your talents. Sometimes you can act enough that you might feel like you need to get back in the studio and work out a little bit. It's cool. I think it's good for her.
Yeah.
I think that's dope for her. So SZA's having another hell of a year. She's on a baby Beyonce run again. And I ain't mad at it. But like SZA, one of the ones that she speak and the women follow. So Super Bowl is going to be shut the fuck up at halftime. You boys better act right when SZA walk out there. That's all I'm saying. You YNs, y'all don't know yet. This Super Bowl, when SZA hit that stage, shut the fuck up.
Where are you trying to go next?
But let me do this one more time before we go there. Because I'm excited about the Super Bowl across the board this year. So salute to the NFL, I guess.
Absolutely.
I kind of hate to say that.
Oh.
It's a plantation, but whatever. Let's do it. Where we at?
I just asked you where you want to go next.
We still doing sports, or we bouncing around? What you want to do?
We don't have much besides sports, so.
All right, so for a second, let's get into the Jimmy Butler suspension real quick.
All right.
Damn, we never got to the Kyrie topic. We can kind of like skip that one, I guess. But I love that topic. It is what it is.
All right, so where to begin with this one?
It's been a rocky road.
It sure has. It's
been a ride.
So
it's been a slice.
Where does it start?
It starts a while ago.
I know.
He's been suspended so many times. Well, it started when there was rumors. It started way before the suspensions. There was rumors that Jimmy wanted out, and that he was having conversations, and that he was trying to hint at wanting out. And one of the things that they were saying was, if you looked at the colors that he was getting his hair braided in, or the color sneakers he would wear, that they would specifically tell what teams he wanted to be traded to, and it kind of lined up. So that was like a whole thing for a while, because he went through like a week and a half for like having different color hair. So he had like the Knicks, he had Ty, he had Golden State, he had Phoenix, like he had all the colors. And then even recently they've been talking about his sneakers, so that folded over. But somewhere in between, he's just been doing conduct that is blatantly like, yo, get me the fuck out of here, or I'm gonna keep acting crazy.
Well, so the first suspension was actually due to him announcing that he wanted a trade.
Yeah, that's why I said the antics started before that.
Yes.
And then he announced it publicly. Yeah.
And then the second suspension was because he missed a team flight, apparently. This is what they're saying.
Now, did you hear the details on that report about that flight?
No, fill me in.
They said that they waited on the tarmac for hours, a couple hours for him. And then when they finally got in contact with him, he said, I'm going to just meet y'all there.
Oh. Interesting.
Now, I watched Carmelo and Rudy Gay talk about this shit on 7 p.m. in Brooklyn. Shout out to them. And I mentioned them too because they're the NBA players on the show. And they were saying, like, motherfuckers is late to buses sometimes, yo. Little 15 minutes, little half hour, whatever. Sometimes maybe even an hour. But everybody know what time the bus leave. Everybody know what time the plane leave. Everybody know, like, at a certain point, you're just either extremely irresponsible or you don't give a fuck. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what they were saying. And they were still, you know, they give them grace because they are former NBA players, and as they should, they try to protect what they say about somebody that they respect or that's in a, you know, league that they respect.
Right.
But even from their perspective, that gives us more insight into it. It's not like people are never late. It's a bunch of people that got to get on this plane. It ain't just players either, right? Shit happens. communication is a motherfucker.
Yeah.
You wasn't nowhere as a millionaire for 2 hours that you couldn't answer or send a text or something.
Right.
To one of the 52 people on his plane.
That's the part. Like, if you are blatantly not responding, not communicating.
You could have sent up a tweet and said, tell the Heat I'm stuck. I need a helicopter. You could have did something. Like nothing.
Right.
And then I'm going to meet y'all there. I'm going to just meet y'all. No, it's cool. Go ahead. Like, if we was going to the club and we waited an hour for you to get situated, and then you was like, you know what, yo? I mean, mine just popped up real quick, you know what I'm saying? Which might be an even more respectable reason, but it'll still be like, nigga, you knew she was coming over. You should have told us to just go ahead an hour ago.
Right.
You don't let her pop up. We know better. But yeah, it's weird. It's weird, but it's the same. We seen James Harden do it. We seen James Harden gain 40 pounds and lose it in a week when he got what he wanted.
Yes. Yes, we did.
So, you know, it is what it is. What's the chat saying? I see Taya down there. Somebody else in there.
Yeah. So, Ty is saying he's making the point that he does not want to be on the team or
Absolutely.
with the team.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's definitely clear.
Yo, Taya.
So, and we didn't even get to the today. So, today he walked out of shoot-around.
Mm-hmm. K-Camp.
And now is suspended indefinitely. Which, to be honest, I think that Jimmy Butler is going through a lot of personal issues right now. We know that he is having trouble with his with the mother of his children.
Mm-hmm. Recently lost his father.
He recently lost his father. I think that he is personally feeling a little lost, maybe in a dark space.
And I think he's actually a little more hurt than we know, and he's picking his spots to be able to just buy himself time.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think this is.
Because he needs to be traded, so he don't want nobody to know that he's not at 100%.
I think that he's not okay, and I think that is spilling over into the way that he's handling this dispute and wanting to be traded. Because it's one thing to announce to the world that you want to be traded. It's another thing to behave in this type of manner to the point where you're not going to get paid anymore.
The problem is, one, he's already made a decision that he's willing to chalk whatever is left that they owe him. At least right now, right? And he'll fight for the rest if it's something on the back end. But the problem is, Pat Riley is in that front office, yo. That's like dealing with Tony Soprano.
Right. It's like
You
negotiating with a 2-year-old.
You're not going to outflex him. He going to keep doing it. He's going to twist the knife deeper. He's going to do something slick to make you bark at him again. But he's going to look cool while he do it. And you're going to be demonstrative in your action, because even if your action is silent, your actions are under a microscope because you can be fined and suspended for it.
Right.
It doesn't work both ways.
Yeah.
But from what we know about Pat, yo, and how, like, I used the Leor shit when Nori said Leor, he was at Leor house for the holidays, whatever, it was big fest and all of that, feast and all of that. And he was like, yeah, you like being here? Well, if you're not on the charts next year, you won't be here. So I think when Pat's in love with you, it's probably the most beautiful place in the world. But when he burn you out or vice versa, I think it turned into something crazy.
It's just unfortunate, though.
And
because...
I mean, like, and when I say crazy, I mean, like, on some chess shit.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree with you. It's just unfortunate because it's getting to the point where Jimmy is starting to look bad enough.
He's messing up his fucking
that it's going to start to mess up his brand deals.
Yep.
And that's where this is unfortunate, because ultimately I agree with you. Like, this is the way that Jimmy probably needs to play it in order to negotiate with somebody like Pat Riley. But for the brands that are just looking for...
I'm not saying that's how he needs to play it. I'm saying that these is murky waters. You're used to dealing with certain kind of GMs and owners and all of that, and this is a different one. When you made that left move and you thought that was going to be significant, he made a different move that you wasn't going to expect, because he's petty. He's petty Riley.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. I'm not agreeing with anything because I really don't know what's going on in between to disagree with what he's doing. But I know that he's not on the positive side of this in the public eye.
No, not at all. And that's my point.
He hasn't said anything to give us any insight to make himself look better.
And I don't know if he's necessarily... I don't know what Pat Riley is doing. I don't know the negotiation side of this. And until a deal is in place... It's not for Jimmy to give up his hand. That's his information. That's the only hand. That's the only cards that he has to play.
Yeah.
So for him to be reacting in this manner, despite the fact that I do think that he's in a dark place and he's going through a lot of personal things, the negotiations have to be going poorly, to say the least.
Poorly, to say the least. And then it's like, to what extent, right? You still have to maintain something to where they can send you where they want to, right? It's like that movie where, it's like on The Wire where they said, where's the last place you would want to be put? And as soon as you get in trouble, they put you on a boat in the middle of the winter, right? They're going to send you to that team you don't want to go to, and that team is not even going to probably be incentivized to play you unless they need you.
But in this scenario, in this league, what is that team to Jimmy that's worse than the Heat?
I don't know, because like I said, he showed us about, between his sneakers and his hair, both times, he showed us about 4 or 5 teams he wanted to go to, and those are all teams that make sense for Jimmy.
But even if he got traded to, like, the Pelicans, it's New Orleans. Jimmy would be fine.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen his hair twisted up with the New Orleans shit, though.
No, definitely not. He wants to go to the Suns, I think.
He want to go to Phoenix. He want to go to Golden State. He want to go to... It was a few. It was consistent both times, though.
Yeah. He wants to go somewhere he can win.
What's the chat saying? And salute the road to a milli.
So, yeah, Road to a Millie says salute. And Taya said he's already hurting his chances of another team wanting him, optics-wise.
Yeah. I think Jimmy's one of those ones, though, and he's a rarity in this sense, that you know when it's time to go, he always goes. Now, he's getting older, so being able to depend on that physically is a little more shaky than 2 years ago, per se. But in all reality, that's a mentality and a heart thing. Like, playoff Jimmy is a different animal. And we've seen him have mediocre seasons and still be playoff Jimmy. So it's like, that's kind of what you're getting for. He's a dog during the regular season where if he goes somewhere else, they'll probably manage his minutes a little different so that he doesn't get hurt. Because he gets dinged up. He doesn't get, like, long-term injuries. He gets a bunch of dings. So it's like if we could give him more time to rehab certain things or not have to carry so much weight, he could be great for a lot of teams. Because playoff Jimmy is going to be a thing until it ain't. You're not going to tell me Jimmy ain't playoff Jimmy until I see him not be playoff Jimmy. It's like Hoodie Mello. It's a different animal. That's all I'm saying. But shout out to him and them, and hopefully y'all figure something out that's amicable, but I think we're past that. And I think that's why it's sad, and that's why everybody's talking about it, because somebody like Jimmy Butler, that seems to be the ultimate.
Well, I think indefinite suspension tells me we're way beyond that.
Way past that. But, I mean, he just seems like such a great team player and seems like somebody that's low maintenance for the most part.
I do want to know how his fellow players feel about everything that's going on. Obviously, you can't ask them.
I would love to know how Tyler Hero feel about this shit right now. Like, 'cause I know Tyler, like, nigga, you the one that told... Nah, he can't say nigga, but you know what I mean. You the one told me we got to put our head down and run... You know what I mean? So, like, yeah, what's the chat saying? I see some shit before we get off of this.
Taya said, yeah, but if he's not a team player optics-wise, teams will shy away from him. Nobody wants a potential cancer in the locker room. But Jimmy's not that.
And
Jimmy's
that's what I was about to say.
That.
He doesn't have a history of that. Philly didn't want to get rid of him for real.
Yeah.
And the other part of that is there's conversations and interviews that happen. So it gets to a point where, like, if Jimmy sits in front of whoever interviews him, because I don't know how that works, and he tells them, like, man, this was the situation. And y'all know how shit be, and I know this ain't the first time y'all heard that this is how they get. You know what I mean? They might respect it and be like, I'll take a chance. Because ultimately, there is a tradition in Miami. Miami Heat, I don't know if y'all know this, but they treat them like a Catholic high school. They have to walk in straight lines. They have to stand on the side of the court. If the other team isn't off the court, they're not allowed to break formation. They have to be in full uniform, everything tucked in, game shoes on and everything. You know how many teams go in there in half uniform and Air Force Ones and warm up? They say when they in Miami, they standing in there, they go 5 minutes over, they look to the right, and Miami is standing there like, yo. And Dwayne Wade is standing there like he's not allowed to budge. So it's a different kind of organization over there. Like, it's weird. And not saying, and I mean, he's played within the boundaries of it for a long time without us having any public perception of him having problems there.
Right.
So I wouldn't want to put that on him. But, like, my point of saying that is, like, when there's a team that operates different, when players go from team to team, coaches go from team to team, these stories get told. So if I tell you a story that sounds familiar to what you're used to, you'll probably accept it.
Yeah. And as much as... So Taya also said that she doesn't think he is, but optics are everything. As much as optics are everything, at the end of the day, the people making the decisions are insiders.
And they in that office, and they having real conversations, whether
They
with
know,
or without you.
They know Pat Riley.
Right.
They know more about what's going on at that franchise than we do.
Absolutely.
So I think that while optics are everything for the brand endorsements that we were talking about,
Or for the consumer.
and for the consumer, I don't think that ultimately his antics right now are going to hold him back from the teams that he wants to go to, unless the Heat holds him back because of those antics.
He is going to have a conversation about boundaries and a physical.
Yep.
And then they're going to figure out a number. And he was, what are you at, 50 now? 50 a year, some shit? Like, he might take 38 and be happy somewhere. You never know. Like, but they're going to have a conversation in the physical.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And then it's going to be what's on the market. I think I want to play off Jimmy. And somebody's going to take him. He could go to Orlando and go crazy.
Taya said, I hope that's the case.
He can go to Orlando and go crazy. And you know, we ain't trying to dispute what you're saying, but I just know a little bit more about how some people get certain places when optically people be like, I don't know why because they know it's still something in that tank. And they told this motherfucker, we gonna make sure your mama happy. Gonna get your nephew a tryout.
Right.
Excuse me. It's all type of shit. It's a lot of variables that we don't consider. The public only considers money and time.
Yep.
Even with the endorsement point that you keep making, like there's a part where, like, even if I don't have a signature shoe, if I have a brand deal with a shoe company, they expect for that shoe to be on the court X amount of times a year unless I'm hurt. So when I start getting suspended a lot, that pushes back on my money.
All
It's
right.
a fact.
Well, let's leave Jimmy Butler there and move on to some other NBA news.
KK.
The NBA Allstars are being announced.
Yeah.
The starters were announced this past week, and the bench will be announced this coming week. So for the West so far, we have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah.
Steph Curry, Nikola Jokic, LeBron James, and Kevin Durant.
Nice.
And then in the East, we have Jalen Brunson,
Shout out Jalen.
Donovan Mitchell, Giannis, Jason Tatum, Karl Anthony Towns.
Cat killing.
Yeah. So
No.
that's the lineup so far.
Salute to all of them, man.
What do you think? Is this who you predicted?
I didn't think Donovan Mitchell would be starting.
Okay.
Everybody else pretty much, even with Donovan Mitchell, well deserved, right? Like, you can't hate on that.
Yeah.
That man's playing great basketball, and his team is successful, and it's like, well, who are we going to pick from them? And if the fans said him, then he deserved it.
It's a little surprising to see two Knicks players, but then when you look at the stats, they both really deserve to be there
they
for
going
their
crazy.
positions.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, all right, well, they both deserve to start.
No, they going crazy. I think it's really interesting when you start looking at how they fill out the rest of this, because you're going to be shocked at some people that are not on the list. The guards are very, very tight this year.
I was going to say, I don't know if there's going to be any Sixers on this list.
The guard position is so tight this year, yo.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, yo.
Yeah.
It's stupid. And everybody's rocking.
Yeah.
Everybody's rocking. Even Donovan Mitchell, point guard, acting crazy right now. So it's going to be interesting. What the chat say?
Taya said, nice lineup. Glad Shea is a starter.
Love that. You know, Shea is my guy.
Yeah.
That's my guy. Shea and LaMelo, all day on this side. And a lot of the young boys on the Lakers I fuck with. But Shea and LaMelo, they showtime to me. And I love, what's her name too, but Anthony Edwards and Ja. But yeah, Shea and LaMelo, I love that shit.
I hope LaMelo gets it.
This is what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I think LaMelo does get it, but then when LaMelo gets it and somebody else don't get it, you're going to be like, oh shit, that man, he don't get it?
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be that all day.
It's definitely going to be that.
All day. Just look at the top guards.
Yeah.
You can look it up right now.
I looked. I voted.
It ain't enough.
No, it's not.
It ain't enough spots. Niggas been
Not
working
enough
out
spots.
this year, yo. And don't nobody want to do the extracurricular events really, except maybe the skills challenge.
Yeah.
And that's based on the fact they're going to be out there already. Like, yeah, I might as well sweat for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? See if I can take home one of these things. Like, what is it? So, no, I'm excited about All-Star. Only because I always get excited about All-Star. Even though we have a tradition of the weekend not holding up its weight. Then guess what? I get free entertainment all weekend. And the best part of it will be the best part of it. The worst part of it will be the worst part of it. But I'm kind of used to it. And they keep trying new shit. So I'll be intrigued to see if the new shit works. Oh, this how y'all gonna run All-Star this year. All right, let's see what happens. A lot of the times it's predictable. Sometimes you're a little surprised. And the funny thing is, they tried something a few years ago that is actually how the Unrivaled League runs right now.
Right.
Where you score a certain amount of points and then in the fourth quarter there's a goal to reach to win the game.
Yep.
It's the same thing. So it's like a lot of these things may have been innovative and didn't work, but they work if they're utilized the right way. So I'm excited. I'm hyped. Let's do it.
All right.
Let me see somebody get dunked on. Let's get some people on the dunk. They still having the dunk contest.
Yeah, they announced the lineup too.
Who's the lineup? I didn't hear that.
Hold on, let me get back to that.
You was about to get off topic. You got the lineup? Let me hear the lineup. That's what I want. That'll make me happy.
Mac McClung,
Nice.
who's the dude who won.
Last year.
Yeah. Steph
Castle.
Castle. Mattis.
Buzelis. Andre Jackson Jr.
Yep. That's who you got.
It's only 4?
Who you got? Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be short.
Yeah.
It's like 1 round, 2 rounds. All right. It should be interesting.
Yep.
We'll see what happens. Ain't nobody doing what I used to do, you know what I'm saying?
Oh.
No, I used to bring you from the, dunk on your grandmama, motherfucker.
Speaking
Should've
of,
been there.
I'll have you do this one.
Yeah, because, similar to me, like how
It's
I
fine.
used to, they used to call me Vince Sanity Jr.
Oh,
right?
did they?
That was the thing.
Oh, I had
Yeah.
no idea.
It was like a 2-block radius, but they said it loud. But shout out to Vince Carter. Let's do this. And I'm going to let it rock. If you don't know, Vince just had his jersey retirement ceremony with the Nets. And I watched the whole thing, man. It was beautiful. It was well-deserved. Just my personal things about Vince, like, when it comes to his entrance into the NBA and his dominance, even with his college career, but like just to be able to transition into the NBA monster. And like I had his poster on my wall, the Olympic Dome, when he jumped over the 7-4 ball. That's probably until 2 years ago. That was probably still in my mom's house on my old bedroom wall somewhere. Like I remember I bought the Shocks. And he dunked on him with the shocks without the Nike sign on. He had the prototypes on. But, like, when it comes to Vince, you just always remember excitement. I remember that dunk contest, him, Steve Francis, Tracy McGrady, and them just going back to back to back and going nuts. And Steve Francis was one of my favorite players ever at that time. Just into watching him transition and find a jump shot and become a proficient shooter and still be aggressive and not look like the old man on the court and parlay that into a very long career that most athletic and leaper players don't get. Derrick Rose got injured one time and the explosiveness went away. Vince found a way to parlay his career into a wonderful long career of consistency and bringing something to organizations that's respectable. He didn't go out looking like, all right, it's time. Like, we seen Shaq do it before. We seen Shaq on the court. We didn't want to see Shaq on the court. Vince didn't do that. Outside of that, consummate professional, gentleman, very well spoken from day one. Even when he was popping his shit, he was very well spoken, great smile and energy that you knew that he'd be able to be one of those ones that transitions into broadcasting and the things that he's done since his career. But Toronto already retired his jersey, I believe. The Nets definitely owe him this, and I think he's one of 7 or 8 retired jerseys with the Nets organization, and that's big.
That's huge.
But I think that the ceremony was wonderful. They gave him his just due. He spoke very well. His family was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
You know, love seeing his youngest daughter being unbothered because that's usually how it go. You know how it go. Yep. So I thought it was just fly to just see the legends that were there to represent and show their respect for this man that is more than a half man, half amazing superstar athlete. He is a great person, human being, and man. We've never heard anything bad about Vince Carter.
Yeah. Never.
And I wouldn't assume that they swept more under the rug than was necessary. I'm sure it's just regular shit. Because he's a dope person. So what did you think?
No, I thought it was a beautiful ceremony. I thought, there was definitely a lot of his past teammates, a lot of his mentors and coaches, and just different people who have played a part in his life in attendance, which was beautiful to see. So overall, I thought that this was dope.
And the thing is, like, I don't even think this caught as much traction as the Derrick Rose joint, but we spoke about the Derrick Rose joint a couple weeks ago. What I'm realizing is when they want to do you right, they do you right, man. And when I say that, like, these ceremonies happening during halftime of the game. How long is the regular halftime? Now go on YouTube and watch how long these ceremonies is.
Right.
Them players have went to the locker room, had their conversation, warmed up, and sat down and watched and clapped for this nigga for 15 minutes. And then it's a commercial break. Right? So it's like, it's a real thing, and I don't think it really affects the gameplay too much. So I just love to see, especially black men that I appreciate, that I was able to look up to and steal a little sauce from and shit like that, because I fancied myself a dunker and a leaper at one point in my career. I also was a shooter at the same time, a little later, but during the same time, like, they transitioned equally. Mm-hmm. So he was one of the ones on my wall, like I said. And I just love to see that sometimes athletes are in our face for so long that we get used to them. And then they transition into a broadcasting job. And it's like, well, he ain't going nowhere. I love to put an exclamation point on the job that you retired from.
Right.
Because it could get overlooked. It's usually more stated for the ones that disappear than the ones that just move laterally or whatever have you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I love to see him and Derrick and people like him be celebrated, because I think it's awesome.
Taya said, I didn't hear about this one, but well deserved. Nobody has taken the slam dunk crown from him since he is the bar.
Taya, you know that. Taya, he went crazy, Taya, when he... Man, I was in my house like, oh my God, I watched that live. I swear I did. Yeah, Taya, he that. So one more time for my guy, man. But see, I respect athleticism and I respect professionalism. When it's in the same box, you a bad motherfucker, man. You a bad motherfucker, yo. Real shit. So yeah, entire like I said, it's on YouTube. It's probably 20, 30 minutes or whatever have you but it's on YouTube. It's always on YouTube. I think and I'm telling you that not to be smart. I think you really enjoy it because you know him like I know him just by your statement. So it's like, yeah, if you want to tap in, you get a couple minutes after this or some point tomorrow. Be inspired by somebody that already inspired you, and you know how they put the like I said, the exclamation point on a moment. I love that. I love that shit. What we doing, Kay?
It's for you.
Bronny has arrived, motherfuckers. Now it might be overstated. We might be excited, but I'm excited. Bronny scored 30 points the other day. And it's not about the points, it's about efficiency, and it's about how some of them points were gathered. And it's about comparing the fact that some of the reason that he had to go to the G League and get his rhythm back and or whatever have you is because he had an extreme health condition. So part of the 30 points, he was doing things physically that we didn't know he could still do back-to-back, K. Some of these dunk-ons was crazy. Like, he might got 4 dunks that was crazy out of that 30 points. You know he got some threes. He has great defensive plays every game that he plays. But Bronny has moments in that 30-point game where he looked like Pop a little bit, but smaller. And the reason I say that, and people hate to, like, they like, you shouldn't say that. No, what you got to realize is his dad trains him. So there's times where he's going to shoot that shot. He's going to be in that position and make that decision the same way his dad would have.
Wait, pause for a second.
Uh-huh.
Do you think that there's going to be some sort of like father-son thing at the All-Star celebration?
They turned down all of the extracurriculars. Bronny turned down all of the G League stuff.
Uh-huh.
And him and LeBron turned down all of the extracurriculars for All-Star.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they was
tried
trying.
it. They tried it.
I'm pretty sure they wasn't going to make it make sense.
Yeah.
He already sold 50, 60 million in Lakers jerseys as a rookie in the G League.
All right, sorry, I just had to
Not
ask.
South Bay jerseys, Lakers jerseys. So no, it's just different. No, that was a great question. You was good, but I just think it's you had so many people saying he didn't deserve to be on the NBA bench and didn't deserve to be in the G League and he should still be in college. If you could score 30 in the G League and have the other games that he's had that's been pretty much him building up to this point, then he deserves to be in an NBA bench, yo. Maybe. I mean, the Lakers is a high bar, but when my dad's on it, then that's the bench. You see what I'm saying? So I just think that it's very interesting how people like just do so much. Where I'm watching them and I'm excited about the fact that this boy can be healthy enough to play in the NBA again.
Yeah.
Because he was a McDonald's All-American before he had his episode in college.
Mm-hmm.
His bounce back. He has one of the best stories in sports.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially if you want to start from the fact that he's a kid that started off with $1 million house. Right? Like, he didn't have to do shit. You know how much it take to be that? To just be that close to being his dad. Which is eons away from each other. I'm not acting like it's close. But what I'm saying is, your dad is a dominant force in the NBA and has been that for 20 years. You are 20 years old. You ain't had to work out as hard as the mother niggas. You could have just went home and motherfucking... You wasn't trying to save the family. Right? You got to get this kid his just due. He cares about being there.
Yeah.
And right now it's looking like he's going to get where he needs to go. He's going to do enough by All-Star break where maybe by the end of the season he might get a couple more minutes, or maybe they just know what they got to deal with next year. But I think that it's exciting to see Bronny getting his shit off, because the G League is not nothing to sneeze at. Y'all go to these summer league games and watch superstars go crazy on each other. What do you think the G League is? You think they just lightweight, but your overseas homie is that nigga? Like, that's crazy. So you love to see it. And like I said, Cell is one of the reaction video that I watched to the game. And Cell said it, man. He said, yo, stop counting Youngin out, man. He's arrived. So I agree. What do you think?
I mean,
30.
30 in the G League is great.
And his man was going nuts too. You know they got the boy with the braids that be jumping all over the place, right?
All right,
Yeah.
that shows a lot of promise. It's nice to see that he has that ability. Do I think that... Here's the problem. He's LeBron's kid, so people are trying to compare him to LeBron.
Biggest problem but he's dealt with that well.
He has. And I do think that ultimately he is going to be on the Lakers, on the real Lakers, not the South Bay Lakers. And he's going to be an asset to the team. Do I think that he's going to be his dad? No.
No, nobody expects
His dad
that.
is an anomaly.
Exactly.
But but Bronny is a great basketball player.
Mm-hmm.
So, good for him that he's, finding his stride and his confidence. And I'm sure we'll see him in the NBA.
Playing consistently very soon.
Yeah, very soon.
But you know what's crazy about it, and I just thought about it when you started talking? I never, because I'm not the biggest LeBron fan. I'm a Lakers fan.
Yeah.
Right? But I bang with LeBron, and Bronny is a Laker. Right?
Yes.
I've never fought this hard for LeBron, ever. Because LeBron complains too much. And that's been one of my biggest pet peeves with somebody that's as physically, mentally, and whatever dominant as he is. You bitch too much sometimes. One thing that Bronny doesn't have the fucking caveat to do is complain. If Bronny is on the court acting like a brat, and I'm telling you, he's conscious of this, or maybe it's not even in his makeup because we don't see him do it, it looks weird.
Yeah.
He don't get to complain like his dad did. He got to play ball, man up, take his hits how he take them, and show a good face every time he's on live or wherever he's at.
Yep.
And I don't think people realize that that's a different type of animal, because that means he doesn't even get to complain like the regular player does.
Yeah.
Let alone a superstar dad gets away with, who trains him and his personality and all that. He has a different personality than his father. He's different. He's just talented. And he has similarities, like I said, because we seen them all of COVID on concrete working out together. You think it didn't happen on the wood?
Mm-hmm.
Like, cut it out, man. But shout out to Bronny, man. We excited about you. Dalton Connect and AR-15 can't wait. You know what I'm saying? They out there. AD out there for you. Go right up and down that court and get your shit off.
That part.
That's what I'm on.
All right. Let's talk about this before we move on and away from sports.
You?
Oh, you wanted me to introduce this?
Did you look it up?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I want you to introduce it now.
Okay. All right. So, it was recently speculated that Maverick is a business partner of LeBron James. That him and LeBron were having conversations about creating an NBA rival league.
And they was raising money, trying to raise $5 billion, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it has been confirmed that Maverick is having these conversations and trying to build some sort of alternative league. Whether it will be positioned as a rival league to the NBA is still kind of unclear. But to date, we have not seen any confirmation that LeBron is actually involved in this deal at all. Fair to say, right?
Yeah.
Okay. In addition to that...
Which we know that they wouldn't show their hand anyway. It's big business. LeBron
Right.
wouldn't do that anyway.
In addition to that, we know that LeBron is trying to acquire an ownership stake in a Las Vegas NBA team. So for him to simultaneously be having those conversations and those wishes while doing, this sort of investment behind the NBA's back is very unlikely.
Right.
So I want to make that very clear.
Is it?
What?
Is it?
Is it? Yes, it is.
Why?
Because...
Because you got to make it clear, because I'm not clear. I'm not clear as to why, if I'm trying to gain leverage against you if I could start a ruckus that could show that I could become a competitor, maybe you'll let me play over here instead of wanting to go against me over there.
So I don't think that negotiations are at that point for LeBron yet. I think that the reason LeBron doesn't have an ownership stake in an NBA team currently is because expansion hasn't happened.
But they keep joking with LeBron every time the commissioner speaks. He'll say something and be like, no, LeBron, it doesn't mean you're going to get a team at a ceremony.
Yes.
You've seen it.
Yes.
That's a little wild, yo. So it's like, are you playing with me? Are we doing the we wink John? Like, what we doing?
Oh, I think it's a wink, John.
So you think Maverick is running rogue? Because he don't do much business without Brian.
I don't know if rogue is the right word. So like this could be I'm not against the idea that this could be part of the negotiation tactics.
Okay.
Is for a business partner to be seen having these conversations. I'm not opposed to that. But I don't think that LeBron would risk the NBA negotiations by actually having these conversations and being outwardly involved or paper trail involved.
Is Maverick or LeBron invested in the Unrivaled League?
I don't believe so.
That would be interesting.
I don't know for a fact, but I don't believe so.
Right.
They're not one of the names, any of the names that I saw on like the investment lists.
Now, one thing I know about LeBron when it comes to the NBA, and he's changed the whole NBA because of this, whatever LeBron wants, he gets.
Yes.
Right?
Uh-huh.
The ownership of the team or the opportunity to feel like LeBron has fell back, like relaxed about the situation and is just going with the flow, has yet to happen. Like, you know how you said it's probably a timing thing, the expansion process and all of that, right?
Yeah.
He hasn't given us the inkling that they having the right conversations with him to feel like that's about to happen.
Because they can't. He's still a player.
So I think it's a chess move. And I think it might not. I think it plays both ways. I think it could be a chess move, or I think it just could be another business opportunity. Because Maverick is building something just like what's his man? That's the agent. They do big business. They grab everybody. I got a cousin that was a sports agent, and all of a sudden, Brian agent got a lot of them NBA niggas that he used to have.
But I think also what this league now. Do you know the details of what this league might be?
No, because they haven't disclosed much more than that they're potentially looking for a $5 billion investment overall.
So I also thought it was interesting that we're hearing about this, and then at the same time we're also hearing the NBA start to talk about a Europe League, right?
I think the Euro League makes a lot of sense.
I agree, but this NBA rival league, a lot of people when they were talking about it were positioning it like a PGA type of thing where the new Saudi league was developed and kind of put the golf tour on its butt.
Check you out. You good. Yeah, that's real.
So I think that the reason I bring up the Euro League is because they know that the NBA is trying to expand in the international direction. If this league was really to position itself as an NBA rival, wouldn't you try to create an international league first? And maybe that's the angle that they're trying to go in.
$5 billion doesn't cover international.
No.
If that's the number, which is the number we've been hearing repeatedly. If this is real and $5 billion is real, then $5 billion doesn't cover international. You got to start where you at. You got to big three this shit out, and he started big three with less, I'm sure. But what I'm saying is, you try to fill a void first, and then you try to dominate. You see what I'm saying? If there's wrestling on Monday and Saturday, then you try to get Wednesday and fucking Thursday popping, right? Or Tuesday and Thursday popping. And then at a certain point, you try to take over Saturday. So it's the same way when you talk about expansion, is what I'm saying.
Okay. I got you.
You agree?
Um,
Somewhat, a little bit.
yeah, yes and no. I mean, I think there's always other markets.
No, there are always other markets, but I believe that what they're doing is intentional. I think what the NBA is doing is actually they have built their league to a point where this has actually become kind of necessary. We've been having a conversation for the last few years how many of the Allstars are from America,
Not many.
right? A lot of the best players in the league, the motherfucker that won MVP 3 times in a row, is not from America. I love Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. He's not from America. So it's like
He's from North America.
he's from Canada. But when it comes down to it, it's like Giannis or Jokic can win a championship and try to leave the same day. They want to go back home.
Yeah.
And they're superstars in the NBA. The NBA is not about that to them. It's about a bigger check. So imagine how many players just don't come to the U.S. because it's like, I'm not leaving. That's over there that's just as talented. We see them in the Olympics every year getting crazy against the best players that we got in the NBA that's from America. So it makes sense to be like, you know what? You can stay home and still be a part of the NBA.
Yeah.
For what Maverick and them is trying to do, they got to find their identity. They have to they have to assert their identity before they start doing all of that. The NBA has been doing this for 75 plus years. And now they're doing that. The NFL has been around for however many years they've been around, and now they have a couple games a year overseas. But football is not football over there.
Right.
It's American football.
I was going to say that's part of the problem.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? And I mean, even when you talk about international play, whether you want to talk about FIBA, you want to talk about the Olympics, we play by European rules. They don't even play the same basketball we play. Right?
True.
So we're not even dominant over there with our style of play. So if the NBA goes over there, to be interested to see if they change the rules to merge with the international rules, or if they keep the same rules and they have to adjust.
I don't know.
Because we adapted the Euro step, which is a travel my whole life until now. And then now you could jump backwards with 2 feet and shoot a 3-pointer. Like, this shit going on we never seen before. So they got to adapt, right?
Yeah.
That's all. My bad. Little tangent. Any new comments?
Taya asked, Bron is still under contract in the league. Can you be an owner while playing? No.
No. He's setting up, and that's what I'm saying. The time period is the time period regardless.
Yeah.
He'll be done by the time that team is built.
But she agreed that Bron can't even appear to be involved.
No, he can't. He would never. He's never been a. We can assume whatever we want about his business dealings. He's never showed his hand. He's never showed his hand, and it's crazy because I just thought about it. I was like, I just wanted to tell somebody recently, like, you showing your hand too much, but it's like, never mind. Whatever.
All
Gotta
right.
be careful how much of your hand you show.
Let's take a break from sports for a minute.
Yeah, let's do some fun shit or some. It ain't no fun
That's
shit.
no fun shit.
I guess everything's fun. I'm having a great time.
Ain't no fun shit over on this side.
I'm having a great time. That's ugly though.
All
I
right.
don't like this for Rocky, man. I like Rocky.
I know. So, A$AP Rocky's trial has officially begun. If you remember, he is on trial for some allegations, 2 firearm charges, and assault against a friend of his, former friend of his.
A$AP member.
Yes, an A$AP member. So apparently these allegations stem from a disagreement that began over, some sort of interpersonal dealings where a funeral was being had and someone was this one member of the group was accusing Rocky of not paying towards the funeral for this other member of the group.
Yams? Couldn't have been Yams because
Josh.
Josh, okay.
ASAP Josh was the person whose funeral it was.
I was about to say, I know they took care of Yams. All right.
So, and it turns out that ASAP Rocky did put money in towards Josh's funeral, but that's neither here nor there. So the argument ensued. Eventually, the argument ceased, but they were still around each other. The other member of the ASAP mob said something else, and allegedly ASAP Rocky lost it, pulled a handgun, and fired twice in close proximity to this other person, to the point where his knuckles were grazed. And that's what the charges are all stemming from. Now,
crazy thing is, I can't even say. I know what that looks like. I know how that happens, but I can't even say it because I don't want to assume anything about what Rocky did. But I know if that was me and that was the outcome, I know how we got there. But go ahead.
So, like I said, the trial is underway. This is a closed trial, so it's not something that the press can just sit in on every day and report back out. And the jury selection, there was a interesting finding that despite the trial taking place in California, in LA, where there's plenty of black people who live in LA, the jury poll was only 9 folks that showed up for jury selection were black. So it's very possible that the entire jury for this case does not include a single black person.
No, they talked about it. They don't.
Like I said, trial is closed, so I'm not going to pretend that I know who is on the jury. Mm-hmm. But it is very likely. And overall, I mean, it's just...
The jury is Asian, Hispanic, and white.
Correct.
That's what I'm saying.
So, right before the trial started, he was also offered a plea deal where he would only have to do 180 days behind bars, which could still be reduced, different types of incentives, things like that. But he rejected this plea offer, and his lawyer thinks that the defense case is very weak, and that they will be able to beat this in court. That being said, I mean, this whole situation is just awful. You never want something that allegedly started between an argument between friends.
Over somebody that was passed, which makes it even scarier. Right.
To really, come to this type of situation. And, I hope Rocky is able to continue his life and continue to be ASAP Rocky. But this is an unfortunate situation. So
I got a different energy on my heart right now, right?
Okay.
I've lost a lot of people, man. And I don't want to harp on that. I'm not saying that whatever. What I'm saying is funny shit happens every time somebody that you love dies. Whether that's people acting weird about what they're owed, that's people acting weird about whose fault it is, that's people acting weird about how you're acting. Mm-hmm. Things get weird around death. And the more you're tied into it, the more that you're tied into it. It's just part of the thing, right? Sometimes you got to protect yourself from yourself, which means you got to pick your spots. Maybe you need to go to the viewing and not this, or maybe you need to make sure you come in when everybody's focused this way. You can slide in the back or the balcony. You got to pick your spots sometimes, especially when you're somebody, right? Also, emotions are high. People are not rational, and everybody's perspective is different. From what I'm understanding about what you explained about the discrepancy, mm-hmm. It was about payment. Mm-hmm. And payment was made, but somebody felt like it wasn't, or maybe it wasn't enough. Right? Mm-hmm. That's perspective. That's not enough to drag out for another year or two with with news clips and court proceedings while we're still mourning this person. right? That we clearly both love. So I just want young people, grown people, I don't know. I want y'all to be very, very specific when you lose someone and the process starts of how we're going to deal with the loss of this person. Protect yourself emotionally first. And make sure that you don't put yourself in a position where your mourning is treated differently because now you're at odds with somebody over such mourning. It is very easy to do and very ridiculous how much time you lose to do the right thing while you caught up in that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want people to realize that. And I'm not assuming what happened. I'm talking about the discrepancy. I don't know if he had a real gun. I don't know if he had a gun. I don't know none of that. But even if that's the situation, if I'm going to a funeral and I'm highly emotional, I might need somebody to hold that. I might need to leave that at the crib or in the car. You know what I mean? Like, you have to protect yourself from yourself. I have literally been at a burial before of one of my best friends, somebody I love to death, and I met him in a short amount of time and great love for him and went through a lot with him. And me and my people was being blamed for while he was dead by people that didn't understand the situation, and I had to maintain and hold that because we not doing that in front of his mom and them.
Mm.
We ain't doing that in front of grandmom and the nieces and them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But it hurt. Sometimes you gotta hold that. We'll deal with this later. And it got figured out later. Other comrades had conversations before I even got involved. I was actually involved in the tail end of it's cool. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you know how I was and how I was feeling and how I was moving at that time, I'd have made a whole nother Philly stupid ass story out of that situation. Don't let it happen to you, yo. It's not worth it. I've been wise enough to get above it, and you are too. You are too. So if you ever find yourself at a loss and people start acting weird, just wait it out, man. Just play the cut. Because you ain't banking on nobody dying anyway. You going to go to work and get your money tomorrow regardless, right? That's what y'all say when we get a new president, right? I'm going to do what I do regardless. Don't let death change that.
Right.
Because they're gone. They don't want that. It ain't cool. Where we at? I saw your new comment.
Yeah, Ty said that's good advice. And before that, she said, facts, Sammy. Weddings and funerals bring out the worst in people.
It get weird. Just realize it's not your moment and let the family do what they going to do. And if you the family, figure out what's important and handle things the best way you know how. Don't let the emotions drag you all over. It's just going to drown everything out. You mourn longer as long as things aren't settled. And that's for whatever mourning period. Whether that's 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years, 30 years. It's going to be longer. It's going to be more time added based on things that are unsettled. So just make that list shorter would be my advice.
All right. I'm going to need you to introduce this next one.
Yo! Have y'all seen this shit, man? It's weird when, you know what it is? Remember Kat told y'all last year was the year of everybody getting exposed.
Mm-hmm.
This is the year of the weirdos getting their just due.
Mm.
And I'm going to tell you why. When did the lawsuit drop from Drake?
Last week. 2 weeks ago.
2025.
Yeah.
Right? We've seen Act go through all type of weird cases. Why is he still around? Right?
Mm-hmm.
But this one, we don't get to speculate about. Sometimes things go so far with people saying the same thing and relying on the same defense that eventually the universe shifts the perspective to where now that defense is no longer allowed. Now there's no longer space for speculation. We have direct audio of this situation. Before it was, well, the girl said he came to her house. She came to his house, and then his friends did. It was like a Tupac situation. But we never seen no camera footage or nothing, right?
Right.
Then there's the other situation that he had, and I don't want to run it all down because I'm not out here to like try to play detective. But you know, you fought your girl in public because she wanted to fight girls and told her you was the prize. You have a bad handling of relationships. We never see you with no friends around you. You on stream for 15 hours at a time ranting and raving for somebody else's ball sack. Like, we don't know what you're doing. And then on top of that, we watched you stream the entire Thanksgiving and not eat a plate of fucking turkey.
So
what happened
what
now
happened?
Is we catch him on the stream, and it's some sort of Discord, and it looks like a video game Discord, right? Mm-hmm. And they're playing Minecraft or something.
Okay.
To that effect. And they're on it with a 15-year-old popular streamer who has a very interesting story, by the way.
Okay.
And you hear Akademiks, DJ Akademiks, and another gentleman trying to influence this young man into having sex with a popular streamer, Blackboy Max, who went viral recently for telling niggas not to smoke in the Airbnb. Remember that happened?
Yes.
So they're saying things that are very crazy to him, and he's politely telling them, I'm 15, no. Or things like, well, why would I do that? You're trying to get those girls in a case when they're trying to send him strippers. He first says, you're trying to get me in it. Well, you're trying to get them in the case. He also says things like, why would I do that? I'm not gay. And then Akademiks says, well, you know, you said you always wanted to be next to Blackboy Max. What if Blackboy Max said, you always want to be next to me, now I could be inside you? To a 15-year-old boy that's not even from America. He's from across the world, living in a whole country that speaks a language he doesn't speak, which is why he's constantly online. His mom has passed in some tragic shit, is the story I'm getting. But he's smarter than you and your homeboy that's on the fucking Discord. But the weirder thing about it is, right? I'm not a gamer. But I know that one thing I hear from gamers a lot of times is, yo, them little white kids be on there talking crazy. And I know that gaming has adjusted that you get blocked for certain kind of hate speech and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Why are you on anything? I don't care how popular this kid is, with a 15-year-old. And then if he's that lit, like if I'm Kai and that's Rakai, right? Why would I ever lead him in any type of conversation or discord, right? That wasn't positive. And then even if I made a bad joke, when he politely nudges me back, why would I fight against that? And then expect that it wouldn't be called grooming.
That sounds like grooming to me.
That boy said, I'm 15. I'm not gay. You're trying to get them a case. How many more superlatives need to be said?
Taya said people have been canceled for less, but he keeps his platform.
Well, the thing is, he's self-made and he doesn't tie himself into anybody else. The people that pay him are entities that we're not even privy to, but we know probably most labels pay him per discussion or post, right?
So,
but this is bad.
what was his response
His initial
to the backlash?
His initial response was, you motherfuckers, man, y'all just start making up words and saying strange shit. Like, y'all saying grooming. Why are y'all saying grooming? That's a boy. That's a little boy. That's like my little cousin, my little brother. Like, that's not grooming. I could see if it was a woman, a young girl, but that's a boy. So that's, how y'all calling that grooming? Was one of his responses. Which was followed by a bunch of bullshit and then went into, I'm not even going to glorify this even that much because it's just a bunch of Kendrick fans trying to make something out of it. There was a lot of bullshit said in between too. But it was bad. And then he later went on to say that he was wrong, but he tried to make it where it's like, he said, I apologize for that, but I just want to say, like, you know, I want everybody that does this, because, you know, we all have an audience, and our audience is all type of, you know, people and ages and stuff, that, like, we need to all ... It's pussy. It's corny. It lacks accountability. The crazy thing is, it makes you look more like a goon and a goof than you did when we heard it, because you don't even understand the problem.
Yeah.
You tried to make it an everybody problem. Everybody else has not got caught with this kind of audio, and the crazy thing is, you spent the last year defending somebody that defends people that has this kind of record.
Yikes.
Not to mention your homeboy that you used to be with got caught trying to duck behind owls and behind the apples and play grab ass with little girls and got caught on camera. And then all of a sudden he wasn't part of your university no more, but he publicly said he talks to you all the time. Y'all still good.
Triple yikes.
It's looking bad, Ak. You ain't cool. You're a weirdo that doesn't know how to talk to women. And then you judge and try to expose men on their dealings with women that you don't understand. And most recently, you're catching up on what's going on in Philly and reacting to that. You are in Jersey, stupid. And half of the niggas that's lit in Philly, whether you think they dirty street niggas or however y'all like to talk about them when y'all talk about them, because that's how y'all gave it up for the Chicago niggas when they wasn't in your favor. Please believe there's somebody that you respect that could tell them how to get to you. Don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. All we need you to do is tell us who you a fan of, and we'll get them to make sure you show up. Don't do it. You being stupid. Nut.
Alright.
He's a fucking nut, yo. And the other shoe is dropping. Just like what happened for fucking Adam, just like it happens for Vlad. We see it happen over and over again. You weirdos is getting exposed, and your homeboy got exposed and can't take it. You ain't gonna be able to take it. You gonna disappear.
Alright.
You gonna find a basement in the woods.
Let's move on to something a little more positive.
Weirdo. He's a nut.
Paige.
Shout out to Paige, man. I like that transition. Let's do that.
Shout out
Nut
to
ass.
Paige. Stop it. Shout out to Paige Buekers. She is officially the first, I guess, like, quickest to...
Fastest, yeah.
Yeah, fastest to 2,000 points for UConn, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So, give it up for her one more time.
Crazy.
2,000 points.
The crazy thing is, I wanted to talk about this last week, but we had such a great episode, we missed a couple topics. But Paige is just a... I know that she's a big name in female basketball, but for people that's probably outside that just, know the highlight names, Paige is very, 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 very fun to watch. And this is a girl that recovered from, 2 ACL procedures and shit like that. Like, and man, when you watch this little motherfucker run around that court, Paige is awesome. It's not a mistake that between, her determination, work ethic, and all of that, and her talent, that she reached 2,000 points faster than any other UConn player. And that don't take nothing away from the others.
Of course not.
But she went nuts.
Absolutely.
So salute the Paige. Yeah. Shout out Paige, man. She killed that.
All right, let's stay on
She gonna be awesome in the W.
women's basketball.
Or in the Unrivaled League. Hey now.
So my phone is still starting up, so I can't look up all the specifics. But
You mean to tell me your phone died?
yeah.
Wow.
So there was a big trade announced today in the WNBA world. This trade is a multi-team trade, so it involves 3 different teams. And the results are that Jewel Lloyd will be traded from the Storm over to the Aces. Kelsey Plum will go from the Aces to the Sparks.
Mm-hmm.
And the Sparks are trading away their first round draft pick from this year.
What do you think?
Because
Because this ties into a later topic too, but go ahead.
yes, it does. So overall, I think that the Storm won this trade.
Wow.
As much as we love Jewel Lloyd, and as much as Jewel Lloyd has been doing well in Unrivaled, she did well at the Olympics. She did not really play that well last season, and actually for the last 2 seasons for the Storm. And overall, the Storm needs to make a lot of moves in order to become a competitive team. And they need new young blood to do that. So they need as many draft picks as they can get, especially this year and next year. Next year, 2026 and 2027 are 2 highly anticipated draft years for the WNBA. There's a lot of good prospects coming up those years. Juju coming up in 2027. And
That's a fact.
so overall, I think that they know that they need new talent. And this year in particular, draft picks are very desirable because it's the year before the CBA goes into effect.
Yep.
So it's very likely that you can sign somebody for the rookie amount this year. And then next year, the folks that you signed for rookie amount will end up making more than that person you signed last year. So because of that, people are vying for draft picks for this year in particular. And I think that that is why this will end up being a good trade for the Storm. The Storm needs to rebuild. It's time. Now, when it comes to the Aces, losing Kelsey is a big loss. She has been Asia's right hand for the last 2 years, I believe, or 3 years.
She was a little streaky in the playoffs.
She was streaky in the playoffs. But the years prior to that, she led you guys to championships.
Yep.
So there is something to be said about that. Now,
So do you like
both Jewel and Kelsey had announced that they wanted a trade. So
You
we
like-
knew that they wanted to come out.
I think I like Jewel better with Asia at this point.
Why?
Just Jewel's adaptability. Like Kelsey is awesome. We know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But right now, Jewel has that kind of spark and that kind of energy that's kind of like, it's like 6-man energy in a starter. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got you.
And I think that when you got a bunch of stars and a bunch of monsters like a lot of the WNBA teams do, sometimes you benefit from that motherfucker that's willing to just get it how they live. And that's kind of how Jewel is. Kelsey is a little different because Kelsey's going to pull the 3.
Yeah.
Like, it's going up. You
Yeah.
give her the space, it's going up. Jewel will fake the 3 and figure something else out and might get it back because she's going to keep moving. I think her energy is different. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Kelsey because I love Kelsey's game. But I'm just talking about, like, it's that, that X factor.
Yeah.
That player that can get you 30, but if they get 10, it still looks like a great 10 and they got some shit alongside of it.
Yeah.
Right? As opposed to that player that if they don't get 18, it look like they ain't played tonight. Because they was fishing for 20 all night.
Oh, I forgot to mention the Storm also got a young center
Yeah.
from the Sparks.
Right. I was about to say there's a third part that we missed, but you got it. That's
Yeah.
it. Yep. But no, I mean, I'm excited to see what happens. I like both players. I just love how Jewel Lloyd. I like dogs, yo. And Kelsey's a dog a little bit, but Kelsey is going to pull that bitch And with Asia, I think we might see something different with Jewel.
I think that's true. I think Asia and Jewel will mesh together better.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Asia effect of it.
Yeah.
Because you're going to keep Asia. Asia ain't going to
No, Asia's not going anywhere. But yeah, so that's the latest in the WNBA. Just to remind you guys, contracts for free agency cannot be signed until after February 1st. But negotiations are happening now, so expect to hear a ton of updates around free agency next week. But until then, this trade is probably the biggest news that we will hear.
And that shit happened middle of the day today.
Absolutely. And there's still some more trades to be expected. Remember, I talked about Satu last week. Their trades... that trade still is expected in some sort of way. It's waiting to see where she'll end up going and for what, but something is still expected to move there. But
very soon.
Yeah, we'll see about that. We'll check in again next week on that.
Something I'm excited about. Talk about it, Kay. Where we at? Unrivaled League. Let's do it, baby.
We are.
Fucking yuppie.
We are on to the Unrivaled League. So, we are officially almost at the end of week 2 with games going on right now.
Yep.
As we speak.
About to tap in.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
I'm trying to pull up the standings.
Okay.
Why don't you introduce it for a second?
So, I don't know if y'all are aware, but there is a league that has been built as an alternative to WNBA players going overseas. And we've seen what happens sometimes. You get a player goes to Russia and doesn't come back. We got to fight to get him back. A lot of that is based on the fact that the WNBA, as of now, and we'll see what the new CBA holds, doesn't pay enough. So a lot of these ladies in the off-season, with all of the time that they have in the off-season, they go overseas. So now they have an Unrivaled League, which just started a couple of weeks ago. It has 6 teams in it. It has a 7th team already ready to be added to it for expansion. They have their own rules. The court is 72.9 feet long, I believe, as opposed to 94 feet of hardwood.
I got it now.
And it's been exciting.
So currently...
It's a 3-on-3 league, too, my man.
Currently, the Vinyl and Lunar Owls are playing, so we definitely want to see that game. The Lunar Owls are up 26-24. But as the standings go so far, we have the Laces and the Lunar Owls both leading the way with 3 wins and no losses. The Vinyl has 2 wins and 1 loss. The Rose has 1 win and 2 losses. Phantom has 1 win and 3 losses. And the Mist is 0-4. It is kind of curious that the Mist is the team that is 0-4 because that is Stewie's team, one of the co-founders of the league. But shout out to Stewie because it's not her fault.
No, it's not her fault. And I think that Stewie ain't get a break.
Yeah.
I think that... Who that? Hold up.
It's locked. It's probably the mail.
Who is it?
It's probably the mail.
They ain't not?
No.
Oh, I think that part of it is that Stewie's tired. She went from the start of the season to their break, which was Olympics, right? Mm-hmm. Then she went back into the season. Then she went deep into the playoffs. Did she win the championship? No. You alright?
Yeah, I'm fine.
She ain't win the chip, right?
No.
She went to the finals?
Yes.
Yeah, so, like, I think Stewie's just a little burnt out. That on top of...
Oh, wait, you're talking about Stewie? Yeah, Stewie won the chip.
Stewie won the chip, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
She's on Liberty.
Yeah, she's on the Liberty. So, that and then trying to plan all of this shit...
Yeah.
I think it's just been a lot on Stewie, and I think that this is just one of those things where next season's not going to look like this season.
Yeah.
You know? Some people are going to start off differently. We saw players start off the first week and have a hard time adjusting to the size of the court, the style of play, the openness for one-on-one play.
Right.
And then we saw in week 2 some of them same players figured it out.
Yeah.
So it's a building process, and I think because they play so frequently, because there's so few teams, that it looks like oh, they're horrible. Like they could figure it out and become a thing in no time.
So, you had also asked me before about the longevity of the league, and the first week's ratings have officially come out.
Nice.
And during the opening game, the viewership was averaging 313,000.
Nice.
It peaked at 364,000, which if you want to compare that to the WNBA, the opening games actually outpaced last year's average WNBA regular season game on cable by 50%, excluding the games that involved Caitlin Clark. So games
Naturally.
that involved Caitlin Clark, you're looking more at 500 to 600K.
Oh, then they good.
So actually landing at 300K. So you always want to evaluate mid-season, not necessarily just in the beginning, because obviously in the beginning there's going to be a pop.
Value and all type of shit. Yeah.
But if mid-season the ratings are still in the 300K area, I think that everybody can consider that a success. Ultimately, just getting the buzz that they've been getting, I think that more sports media is going to continue to talk about this league because it has been making an impact. You do see a lot of social media buzz about it. So I think that overall, they've been doing a great job, and I'm excited to see it continue to develop.
What I'm afraid of is what I've been saying. The allegiances of these major platforms not being able to give light to rival platforms, of rival leagues, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing I said about the Big Three and all the stuff Ice Cube go up against. These women have been doing a lot. All I've seen the majors run with is the initial story. These people got together and made something great.
Yeah.
There hasn't been any updates.
No, they haven't been doing coverage,
I'm
which
on
is
YouTube
upsetting.
every day. There's not a clip on any ESPN, whatever, FS1. Is none of them, out of them 1,000 shows, there's 24/7 coverage of sports. I don't see anybody talking about this shit but us.
I know.
And when I say
Bleacher Report.
Bleacher Report, right? But and I'm saying like on my timeline I do.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to the majors, it's very, very weird, yo. Is these women or these people, these investors are in a situation where they doing something dope and it's sports related. Y'all would talk about a middle school softball game.
Right.
If there's a highlight,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Y'all not talking about this at all. It's very strange, and I knew it was coming, and I said it a couple weeks ago. I said, what if they run into that wall? And it was, you gave me a reason, and I'm not trying to say that you were wrong because we'll see. But like, yeah, this is strange, cause I'm enjoying watching this shit 3 nights a week.
Yeah. I'm a little disappointed that ESPN hasn't participated in conversations around this, or even like Cam and Mace haven't started talking about the Unrivaled League at all, or
At
other
all.
folks. But Cam and Mace also didn't really talk about WNBA very much, so.
But I mean, they said the same thing about Stephen A. and them. But like at the same time, when everybody's trying to adapt and look like the hottest, newest, because everybody's running the same play, right?
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of debate shows and this, that, and the third. At some point, you got to be tackling something that they're not tackling that's like exclusive. Like you got to be ahead of the curve on the UFC.
Yeah. I agree.
You know?
I agree.
Yeah, like I don't. It doesn't make sense to me, and the only way that it makes sense to me is if there's the same plays that we've known to be ran by the NFL and the NBA happening right now, to where like we pay for this type of broadcast and it can only cover these things.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like it. It feels weird. It feels like suppression, and I'm a hip hop nigga and a whole fucking gangster nigga. I just don't like bullshit when you try to be a bully. It's corny. You can't bully nobody. Run the race. If you got Pepsi, let them get Coca-Cola. What are you doing? But when it comes down to broadcasting, don't put no restraints on what can be attached, because there's a lot of women that's from the W and all of that are on these networks, and I wonder if that's part of it, because they haven't fought for it like they was fighting over the Caitlyn shit. It's just interesting. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I'll be curious to see how much attention is paid when, as things progress. Like, this was just the first week. As things progress, I'll be curious to see how much attention is paid, especially once they get to like playoffs and things like that. Maybe media will start paying attention then. Will they pay attention to the one-on-one tournament? You know, I have a lot of questions, but
how about the fact that the implications on if you cover this league and didn't cover the big three, it'll just look weird, because it's still 3-on-3 basketball with professional athletes. How about that?
that's true too.
Like, that's what I be saying about being on the right side of history. Sometimes you got to stand on bullshit, yo. So this could go a lot of different ways, but right now it don't make no sense to me. This should be getting, and their numbers were great, which means they done their job.
Yeah, they have.
Imagine if there was a fucking highlight that was going viral right now and that had them jerseys on it.
Yeah, and that's
it's
part of
some
the
little
problem.
girl's birthday every day.
For retention, you need that.
Yes. And it started by the friends of y'all. The owners of the league are people that y'all respect and have relationships with.
Mm-hmm.
So I would think even with that, somebody would be like, well, you know, I know we about to cut the commercial, but big salute to the Unrivaled League. I see what y'all doing over there. Nothing?
Mm-mm.
I haven't seen it.
No.
Because they would have posted it. Unrivaled and these teams that's involved in it, they're great with social media.
They are.
They're awesome with social media. They the showed us. So get on your job, yo. I'm just glad that Kay does enough, shout out to you, enough research on this every week. I watch the games. Kay be figuring out the rules and the behind the scenes and the contracts and all of that. I'm glad that she gives a fuck enough so that we can bring it to y'all weekly enough to give y'all more information at really a weekly basis.
Yeah.
About women's basketball and sports at this point. At some point, she's going to start our volleyball segments, but volleyball is so broad.
Volleyball, it's a college game.
Volleyball is broad as hell. It's too many teams.
No, there's really not. It's the Big Ten.
That's all that matters?
Yeah.
All right. So, we got one more topic, and we getting out of here.
All right. I think I lost my graphic for this one.
Remy blocks Suge is the topic.
Yes.
And this actually happened a couple weeks ago, and what's weird about it is we haven't heard it from Remy yet. We heard it from Easy. But Easy said that Remy said that Suge's no longer allowed on their platform because he went so hard at Remy in their last battle.
That doesn't make sense.
Especially not when Remy did the face-off and told Suge to get off Easy dick and removed all neutrality from the face-off.
Yeah, I don't...
Which Suge could have reacted to, but according to Suge, he didn't hear it. Which I could believe, because if I'm looking for what he's saying and you say something, I might not be on that, right?
But at the end of the day, this is battle rap. Like, what are we talking about? Of course the person you're dating is fair game.
You getting ahead of it. Because I want to stick to the face-off. She also said in the same face-off, y'all act like I can't battle too, like I can't rap too. Niggas throw shots at me, I'm shooting back. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
So she made it a go at that point, right?
Yeah.
These are two instances of where you inserted yourself. Not to mention, and I watched, shout out to Geechee Gotti, I watched him run down when he was talking to Jazz. Out of the last 4 battles that Easy's had, some of his biggest haymakers was when he mentioned Remy.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Yeah.
You know, it's not even like a thing. Like, why wouldn't it be, right?
Of course.
But then you tell the competition they can't mention her.
It doesn't make sense.
And then somebody like Suge, you shot a battle, you hosted a battle on Chrome 23, which is Remy's platform that you seem to be GMing, which is cool, whatever. Neither one of y'all promoted the event in the way that you should have.
At all.
For reasons that seem pretty evident when you look at it in hindsight. But Suge sold that building up. Suge's name mixed with your name showed a lot of pay-per-views. Right? Suge done his job. He got called a dick eater at a face-off and he can't get a fucking crowd reaction in a position where you got him in his hometown threatening him not to fucking say it. That don't even make sense in battle rap. Then on top of that, you think about the fact that it's not even that, Kay. Has nothing to do with Suge. This is a warning to anybody that battles Easy, because Easy's only going to battle where he wants to battle at, that you can't do that, or you might can't get no more money over here or be associated with Remy.
So,
mind you, we still ain't heard this from Remy yet.
Right.
But go ahead.
Well, and that's part of my problem is we only hear anything from Easy. We still haven't heard that they're a couple yet from Remy.
Well, she said, I love you when he said, do you love me?
No, she said, yeah.
I mean, no. All right. I'm listening. You making that face like they can't hear your face.
That's it. She said, yeah. That's it.
It's a bar at that point.
But she's never addressed him as her boyfriend. Like,
she didn't even stand on stage for the battle, which was
no.
Because it's assumed when you say the thing you say in the face-off, and when we know the tradition of you standing in the middle, and we know we went viral because Geechee was talking to you, you actually tried to pull a rug from under Suge by not being on stage. Not even an eye shot of the camera. It's a point where he's talking. You say something to him, and he's speaking to you in the balcony.
No. Let me finish. Let me land, cause I gotta roll. So, this is her perspective, where she is like barely acknowledging the relationship, trying to play league owner only. Like, just don't put me in no bars. I'll shoot back. On the other hand, he is trying to position her as like, this is my sugar mama. She's going to make everything great. She's going to book all of my battles. I'm only battling on her league now. She's going to make sure I get all my matchups. Like, this sounds like a very unhealthy relationship between the two of them, if I'm being honest.
If, as a grown man, I know what I know about breakups, and I know about when families break up. This is a very thin ice relationship.
Yes.
Because we could watch this family go through a lot of shit publicly, and then somebody, whether that's the male or the female, in a situation say, man, fuck that. Whatever I gotta do, I want my family back. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. We have children. We're married. We're yet divorced. We're not even really, technically, according to what we know, separated, because they've been given the perspective of them living together. Even when, what's his name, man? Queen's Flip was on a FaceTime with her, and he was like, oh, you in the crib? Tell Pat Poops I said, what's up? And Pat was in the house. And he was like, Rem, you killed that. Because he knew that was fake. Mm. So, like, you got to remember how much this has been going on since the rumors started. And then there's a part where somebody even said it. They was like, man, I think it was Geechee. He was like, we keep acting like everybody in battle rap ain't already know. Like, they ain't been showing up to events together.
Right.
This is just for the public. It's whether the shade room catch it or not. That's what it comes down to. But I think that Easy could wind up in a very bad position where if she decides to go left, or they break up just because, she was with Pep longer than she been with him, they might break up, right? Mm-hmm. That he'll still have to come back down. You flew too close to the sun.
Yeah.
You smelled yourself too much. And I think that at some point you're going to have to be provided balance. And we've seen the greats go through it. So I think it's very scary precedent to send, and I don't like the message that it's sending because it's bullying as an owner through a third party. And at some point, you're going to have to either co-sign it or tell him to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I don't.
About business. Publicly. Why are we even doing that in battle rap?
Right. Well, and that's the weird thing is like, how can she even publicly claim you when you keep telling her hand every single time? Like, why is that your first move, Easy?
I heard something funny today, and a motherfucker was like, yo, remember you used to watch Champion all the time? And Anwar used to be like, well, I spoke to Twerk.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Easy's been doing in reverse.
Yep.
Where she's supposed to be his representation, but she's such a bigger name that he's always saying, no, Rim said.
Mm-hmm.
No, Rim, y'all don't even dig. Rim don't like that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been doing that the whole time. Even to the fact where it's like, no, Suge ain't allowed back on the joint. He violated.
Yep.
Like, we don't even know where this is coming from. And it's like, you acting like you got a direct line to the president or something.
Yep.
And as much as we respect these entities, once you pull that card once, twice, 3 times, it starts burning itself out. Because it's like, we know you're talking to this person that still isn't willing to validate the fact that they said the shit.
Exactly.
And that don't make no sense. So at a certain point, you become Akademiks and you're a puppet. Shout out to the boy.
Well, now that we're full circle, I feel like it's a perfect place to end it.
You know, I know how to put a bow on that bitch. Make it shine.
All right, so make sure you tune in to the YouTube channel this week, Sippin' with Sammie on YouTube. We have plenty of clips and shorts dropping. So please be sure to subscribe, like, comment, all that fly shit. Yeah.
Nah, appreciate you, K. Killed it this week, man. Great show, great show. Love your information. I did make the people a promise you will be starting your segments soon, and we'll figure out how long or short they will be, but they are coming soon. We are going to utilize her expertise without my interruption, and y'all going to see what that look like. Y'all going to enjoy that. As she said, we populate the page regularly. We are making adjustments for lifestyle changes currently, but we will still continue to do so. We just might have to run on a different schedule. So we might not be able to always do Mondays, but guess what? We're going to get at y'all regardless. That's what we doing. That's what we doing. We just getting to the paper. We just expanding the studio and all that. That's all we doing, man. But shout out to everybody that tapped in. Shout out to Taya for being a consistent voice in the chat. We salute and appreciate you. And she'll be up here soon, as we said. Shit, I might be not able to make it, and maybe Kay and Taya will run this motherfucker one night and have a great night. You know what I mean? Do the girls' night thing. Do some fly shit. You drink beer, she drink wine. Y'all kick it.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's a lot of things we can do with this page because this is Sippin' with Sammie, and this is Sippin' with Sammie. I am Mr. Fly Shit, only the one and only Sippin' with Sammie, Sam Malone, Barstool Rug. If you ain't sippin' with Sammie, you ain't sippin' right. Please get your fucking life together. This is
Damn, Sammy, you done fucked up.
Thanks, Sammy.
Yeah, boy.
Fucking yuppie transplants. Move the fuck out. Get out of our fucking city. You ain't even fucking born here. Tired of you, motherfucker.